pregnant, not incapacitated. Little snooze and I'm as good as gold.
Ah, good, because there's some bimbo at the front counter asking for you.
Tess!
You're obviously too drunk. Just get out of my face, will you?
Settle this settling in the bloody car park right now.
The day I want to settle things with you, Calvin, believe me, you'd know about
Listen,
it.
stop trying to control my life for a change, okay?
Bridie, did he hit you? Oh, God.
So you can't even keep a man.
I don't want a man. And I certainly don't want one that bashes me up.
My name is Katya. Welcome to Heritage Homestead Hotel.
Well, look who it is, Australia's only honest cop.
Because of our family situation, she needs a lot of positive reinforcement and she looks for it in me.
Well, she's got shocking taste. Hey, it's all right, We don't want to hurt you.
He raped me.
Back yet?
No, he's still not responding. I'll see you in 10.
Say again, Sarge?
I said I'm on my way.
Calvin's dead.
We'll get through this. All right, hold on. We'll find whoever did this. She's kidding, right?
Any word from Jonesy yet?
No, nothing.
Well, he can't be too far away.
Don't count on it. It was Jonesy who did it. He killed my Calvin.
We can't rule him out. Not just like that.
So I was taking a bath, heard Calvin drive up.
And how did you know it was Calvin?
He drives fast, brakes hard. It was Calvin.
Okay.
So I got out of the bath, was getting dressed. Then I heard someone shouting.
Did you recognise the voice?
Constable Jones.
Bridie, this is a very serious accusation. Can you swear to me that it was Constable Jones?
It was him.
So Calvin drives up and then a man you think was Constable Jones starts shouting at him?
Yes.
Right, so Constable Jones was already there when Calvin arrived?
No, he drove up too.
2 cars drove up.
That's what I said.
No, that's not quite what you said.
Knew you wouldn't believe me.
We really do want to hear your version of events.
They were shouting at each other, abusing each other.
You hear the words?
Just angry, Mingett. And then suddenly Calvin made this terrible sound. I went to the window. Jones came out of the shed, got into his vehicle and hooned off out of there.
You actually saw him?
Couldn't mistake him, that hair of his. The uniform, the police vehicle.
And then?
I went down. Calvin was in there.
Katya, how much did you happen to see this morning?
See? I see nothing. But I hear.
Hear what?
I hear shouting.
Did you recognise the voices?
Calvin, maybe?
Who else?
Katya, this is important. Did you hear one person or 2?
Maybe ask others. I translate.
Well, if you don't mind, we'd like to use our own interpreter.
You don't trust me? Secret police. Sure.
No, I'm not secret police.
If not, why no uniform? Secret police? It's okay. I understand.
This Constable Jones, big, hunky guy, bit of a spunk.
Yeah, that sounds quite like him.
Yeah, well, he was asking about the Natasha woman. And I told him about the visitor.
Visitor?
Older guy. Kind of tragic.
Not hunky, not spunky?
Nah, he bought some flowers, but she didn't want to know.
What did he look like, this older visitor?
Like a grandpa with a really gross comb over.
Sounds like Sid Harrison.
What did Constable Jones do when he heard about the visitor?
He just took off out of here. You wouldn't have his phone number, would you?
Bit of a spoiled sport, weren't you?
Do me a favour. It's not my job to encourage stalking.
You seriously think that he shot through?
It's a possibility. A reliable witness places him at the crime scene with the victim.
I can't believe that you genuinely think that he did it.
Ben, I can't believe that Bridie would lie about it.
Mount Thomas 258 to VKC.
Go ahead, Mount Thomas 258.
Any word on our previous inquiry?
Nothing has come through yet, 258.
Hey, Ben? Evan!
Mount Thomas 258 portable to VKC.
Evan!
Code 12 and 16 on the western side of the Sandy Creek Road, about 1k from the turn-off. Police vehicle involved. We need ambos. Notify 900 ASAP. Portrait of a fugitive killer, eh? Tess, stay back. You get hurt, the boss will have my guts for garters.
Ben, I smell petrol.
Come on, mate, we're going to get you out of here.
Any joy with the rest of the staff?
Nah. Well, they all heard the car pull up. Some think they heard a fight, some didn't.
Any of them hear a second car?
None.
Any of them see Constable Jones?
None. None.
It wasn't Jonesy. He was probably already in that ditch.
Is this your intuition, Constable Parrish, or do you have some reason for saying that?
Calvin's killer has to be the same person who stabbed him yesterday.
Has to be?
Most likely to be. And Jonesy didn't do that because he was with me from the moment he signed on.
But not today.
So I'm supposed to have stabbed Calvin? You gotta be joking.
Sergeant Gallagher tells me you didn't like him very much.
I wouldn't put in the time. Look, PJ and me hit the hospital and Calvin and Natasha had already left. I spoke to her nurse. She described a man like Sid Harrison visiting, flowers and all. So I decided to give him a visit.
Which you did?
Which I did.
Right.
But he wasn't home. I should have called it in, but I didn't.
So you ended up in the ditch how?
I was driving back from Sid's house. This truck cut the corner and forced me off the road, so I hit the siren and started to get out and... bang.
The next thing he remembers is Ben pulling him out from behind the wheel.
So is this an alibi or not?
Well, there's damage to the rear end, which he wouldn't have got crashing through the fence.
So maybe he was rear-ended by this truck he saw.
Forensic are checking the four-wheel drive for paint fragments, but Paul Donald is asking if he had time to go to the hotel first.
What, kill Calvin, then head to Sid's?
Possible, but unlikely.
We could always check his vehicle, though.
Well, the age of miracles isn't past. Jonesy actually filled out his logbook for once.
No, that's what I call suspicious circumstance. Well, the mileage covers from here to the hospital to Sid's and back to where the crash happened.
And the hotel being on the other side of town means he couldn't have gone there.
I suppose not.
Bridie swears she saw him.
It could be an honest mistake.
Yes, she made a clear identification.
Which we now know to be false.
People make mistakes.
Oh, good. So I'm not a serial killer anymore.
I wouldn't go that far, but you seem to be in the clear on this one.
So is that an apology?
No.
Because I seem to have been a suspect.
In a homicide investigation, everyone's a suspect.
Well, everyone except Bridie. She accused me, didn't she?
She honestly believes that she saw you at the scene.
Well, you might honestly believe her, but the jury's still out on what she honestly believes.
I think we might leave it at that, Jones. Try and get some rest.
No, I've never felt better, boss.
Stay in bed. You've been unconscious. You could have concussion.
If a doctor cleared me to come back to work?
I'd want to see it in writing. Back to bed.
But Bridie Gallagher says she saw Jones argue with Calvin and then saw him drive away.
Yeah, well, women like Bridie don't always tell the truth, do they?
Women like Bridie.
Tess might think the sun shines out of her. I don't.
I look forward to meeting the lady.
A lady isn't quite the word I'd use.
Oh, meow.
She positively identified Jonesy, said there was a police vehicle there. No room for honest mistakes. So unless Jonesy's got a twin, she's lying.
Why would she do that?
Because she killed Calvin herself. Abusive relationship.
And she picked on Jones to blame because...
He arrested her boyfriend last night.
So she set him up for a murder?
Tell me you haven't seen that before.
And there's no corroboration from the other staff at the hotel?
I hear car arrive, then people shout.
Did you recognize the voices?
I told other secret policemen all this.
Kathy thinks we're all KGB agents.
You? Look like Colonel.
Believe me, Katja, compared to me, a KGB colonel's a pussycat. So who did you hear?
Calvin was one, and other was Brady.
Why didn't you tell us this before?
As a secret policeman did not ask.
So Calvin and Bridie were having a fight.
More than fight. Little later, Brady in garden. No clothes on.
No clothes?
You like to watch, huh?
I don't think so.
No clothes on, dig hole, bury something.
Bury something. Where?
She buried a towel.
Blood. Lots and lots of blood.
Where'd that come from?
It was buried in the grounds of the hotel. What do you think, once it's tested, the blood will turn out to be Calvin's?
Now, a witness alleges they saw you bury it.
Who?
And that you weren't wearing any clothes when you buried it.
That's sick.
I put it to you that it could have been very smart.
I don't know what you mean.
Now, Bridie, according to your original statement here, you were having a bath when Calvin got back. Did you still maintain that?
Yes.
You heard him come back, you wrapped yourself in a towel, and you went down to have it out with him.
About what? I loved him.
About the way he treated you, about the allegation that he raped Natasha.
Your allegation.
Well, I put it to you that you fought. You followed him into the shed and you stabbed him to death.
No.
Then you buried the towel, you went back to the bath and you washed the blood off yourself.
No.
And you came down and discovered Calvin's body.
No. None of that happened. I told you. Constable...
He's alibied. He's alibied, Bridie.
What's happening with my sister?
Yes, please.
Hey, Joe, what's happening?
It's not looking good.
Not good's the understatement of the year. A witness heard her and Calvin fighting and then saw her burying a blood-stained towel.
A witness? How reliable?
Plus there's the domestic, the rape allegation against him and the strong possibility that she'd already stabbed him earlier in the day.
Allegations and strong possibilities, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say not good. In fact, I'd say very bad. I'm going to charge her.
You don't have enough to build a brief.
By the time I finish, I will. Your sister's going down for this.
It's a fit-up!
Pretend I didn't hear that.
AJ, please, you've got to do something.
Yes. I am sorry.
Boss?
I heard. Make sure she's got a good lawyer.
One's organised, on his way.
Then let him handle it and you steer clear.
There must be something we can do in the meantime.
Tess, if she wasn't your sister, you wouldn't say that.
But she is my sister. Mum was never there. I virtually brought her up myself.
Then what I said goes double. Lawyer, then steer clear.
I can't do this. I keep telling you I didn't do it.
Righty?
Tessie, help me. They're saying I killed him. I couldn't kill him. I love him. I love him to bits. I didn't do it.
I know. Now listen to me. I've got a lawyer on the way. Take his advice. Didn't do anything, so nothing's going to happen.
You really believe me?
Of course I believe you.
So, what's that? Take her to Melbourne, have her remanded.
I've got a lawyer on the way.
Sorry, she's going to Melbourne now.
Melbourne. But I didn't do it. I crossed my heart to see you have to die. I didn't do it.
Righty, of course you didn't. Even if you did, who could blame
Boss,
you?
there's your medical certificate.
It was him! He did it! You killed him! You killed my Calvin!
All right, Stuart, let's get her in the car.
You believe me or you believe him? Which is it?
Ronnie.
Tell them you believe me, please!
Tess, you don't really think that I did it, do you?
No, you couldn't have.
And that's the only reason, because I'm alibied.
I don't think Bridie did it either. Yeah, she wouldn't, not like that. She'd still be angry, and we'd all know about it. She couldn't put together such a consistent story.
Well, she did. And she accused me of being there.
I know. When she was a kid, she used to hate being in trouble so much, she just...
What, lie?
Yeah, but not about murder.
Yeah, but this time it is.
She's my sister.
Tess, do you believe that she did it?
No. I don't.
Well, someone did. So let's find out who.
But the little bitch accused you of murder.
Yeah, whatever, Joe, but Tess believes that she's innocent.
Well, my sister's always thought I was innocent.
Thank you so much for helping.
Yeah, we were just discussing possible alternatives to Bridie or me.
All right, well, let's say it was Natasha because Calvin had raped her.
Yeah, or Sid. I mean, he's pretty gone on Natasha, and he wasn't home at the time that I called in.
Well, he was out and about at the right time to do the murder.
Maybe with Natasha in tow, and after all, they left the hospital at the same time.
Now, this truck that pushed you off the road, mate, could it have been Sid?
What do you think?
Well, it's something. That could be the paint off the four-wheel drive.
We'll get forensics down to have a look. Hopefully they can make a match.
Help you, miss? Huh?
You going somewhere, Sid?
Going? I'm not going anywhere. Where would I be going?
Can I open the back for us?
Hey?
Do you mind if I do? Well.
Nice result, Sarge. Maybe the rest of us should go non-operational.
Joe, look after Natasha.
I don't want you in on this interview, Sergeant.
No, I wouldn't dream of it, boss. Wouldn't want to give the defence a free kick.
We've got forensic looking at your truck. So if it was you that pushed the police vehicle off the road, it's better to tell us now rather than later.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the honest truth. I panicked.
You panicked?
I was heading home. A police four-wheel came straight at me. I avoided him. I mean, suddenly he pressed the siren. I braked, and I slammed her into reverse, and then, an unfortunate accident occurred.
An unfortunate accident occurred?
Well, you don't think a bloke did it on purpose, do you?
You pushed me off the road, Sid. You left the scene of an accident. I could have been bleeding to death in there.
I had to get Bunny out of the hospital.
Bunny, as in Natasha?
Yeah, that's what I said, Bunny.
So she was with you when this happened?
Yeah, I had to get her out of there.
Well, the nurse said she wouldn't see you.
What do nurses know about anything? I waved the flowers through the door, and I said, "Who's a pretty girl, then?" That's my pickup line.
And it worked?
Look, the bloke who raped her, he was in the hospital. I mean, poor kid was terrified. I said to her, "Look, come with me. We'll drop by at my place. I'll pick up a few things. We'll head up to the Sunshine Coast and I'll show her a good time."
Sid, you knew we were looking for her.
Oh, look, she's scared of cops. She had to get away from that Calvin Baker animal.
She said that Calvin Baker raped her.
That's right. He deserved to be murdered in my book.
Where did you hear that?
What?
That Calvin was murdered.
I didn't. Just he deserved to be, that's all. Was he?
You knew.
And he had a motive. I mean, he's nuts about Natasha, right? He's probably never had a woman like that in his entire life. So she tells him that Calvin rapes her. He loses it, drives over there, stabs him, drives home, sees me, panics, pushes me off the road.
Makes all the sense in the world to me.
But what about the blood-soaked towel? What's her connection with the murder? And where was she the whole time? And how does Natasha tell him? She needs an interpreter.
PJ, she says, Calvin hurt me. Me scared.
Yeah, and me, Tarzan.
Цей чоловік, Sid Harrison, відвідав мене у шпиталі.
This man, Sid Harrison, came to see me at the hospital.
Приніс мені квіти і сказав, що він мене любить.
He brought me flowers, said he loved me.
Right, so Sid said he loved you, and then what happened?
Так що Сід Гаррісон казав? Що він любить вас, а що було потім?
Він просив, щоб я пішла з ним. То ми пішли до
So we went to his
house, and I had a shower, then I hid in his truck.
Did you tell Sid Harrison that Calvin Baker had raped you?
No, it was a stranger, a man I met when I tried to hitchhike to the city. I only said it was Sid because he tried to hurt me.
Are you aware that Calvin Baker had been murdered?
Who is Calvin Baker?
She claims she didn't know about Calvin being murdered. But Sid knew.
And they were together when they left the hospital.
Okay, maybe Natasha waited in the truck while Sid went and killed Calvin.
Sid drives her to the hotel, says, won't be a minute, stabs Calvin, gets back in the truck and drives her home without telling her?
Why not?
Because he'd be covered in blood.
The towel. He grabs it off the line, wipes himself down and buries it.
Mate, it'd have been in his clothes, in his hair.
The report from forensics says Calvin's semen matches samples taken from Natasha, so Calvin was the rapist.
Except Natasha says she doesn't know him.
But he was in the area. I mean, maybe he was the stranger who picked her up hitchhiking. He raped her, but she didn't know his name.
She saw him at the hospital. She points him out to Sid. They follow him back to the hotel. She never even needed to know his name.
So if he was at the hotel, someone may have seen him.
Clary Dodd saw him.
Well, Clary Dodds is in Mount Thomas's knacker extraordinaire.
Yeah, he's willing to swear that he saw Sid Harrison turn into the driveway of the Homestead Hotel at 11:20.
It's about the time Brady and Carty said they heard Calvin arguing with someone.
Yeah, and about 10 minutes before we got there.
Is Clary certain about the time?
Absolutely. He was trying to phone a bet through, and he just missed the start.
Natasha and Sid see Calvin at the hospital, and she says that's the guy who raped me.
Sid probably knows him from delivering stuff to the hotel.
They wait in the hospital car park. Calvin leaves. They follow him to the hotel, kill him, and leave.
Yeah. When they see me, they panic and push me off the road.
But why stick around?
Because they're not obvious suspects. They've got time to get ready and go. It's got to be the way that it happened.
Well, the evidence of rape does raise reasonable doubts. You'd better put Paul Donald in the picture.
He's going to be so happy.
This book you're writing, PJ, how to really aggravate people and get detective sergeants hating your guts.
I think it'll be very popular.
It may well be. But right now, you're not. I take it you're behind this.
Not me. The evidence.
All right, let's hear it.
Bunny's a nice girl, okay?
Natasha.
I reckon she was tricked into it.
Tricked into what, Mr. Harrison?
Working at the homestead.
She's working at the homestead? Doing what?
Look, I'm a widower. My wife died 5 years ago, and that's a long time between drinks, okay? I mean, I reckon I know some blokes, they say that they don't have to pay for it, but, I mean, can you see me in some disco trying to pick up a Sheila at my age? So when I heard that the homestead was being turned into a... you know what?
I'm a very inexperienced, not to say innocent man, Mr. Harrison. You're going to have to spell this out for me.
You know,
I don't want to shock you, but I think he's talking about a brothel.
Oh, listen. Bunny would never work in a brothel. Look, I spent the night with her, and I asked her to come away with me.
Were you going to propose marriage and make an honest woman of her?
That's when we got into the pushing and shoving. I brought her home and I asked her to marry me. She laughed. Oh, I saw red. Shouldn't have done that.
Well, how did she come to be working at the hotel, Sid?
It wasn't her fault. She said they bought her from some crims in Melbourne.
Bought her? Who bought her?
Calvin Baker and Bridie Gallagher. They pay for these girls from overseas and they set them up as pros.
Half a dozen priors for soliciting for prostitution, a couple for shop theft. It's not looking good.
Tess isn't going to like this.
Tess isn't going to like what? Are you running my sister through Leap?
What, you think Paul Donnell hasn't?
No, that's a different Bridget Kathleen Gallagher. I mean, there's got to be dozens. How many Irish Australians are there? How could you even suggest that?
Tess, Sid Harrison suggested it.
Sid Harrison is a liar or he's got it wrong. You know, my sister may have very bad taste in men, but she's not a prostitute.
What now?
Looks like the Homestead Hotel's been used as a brothel.
What's that got to do with Tess?
God. Yeah, and it gets worse.
How?
Sid Harrison alleges that the girls were brought in by people traffickers and then sold on to Calvin and Brian.
Sid Harrison is lying to protect himself. You should know better than to believe him.
It could explain a few things, Tess. I mean, there is something definitely going on there.
Right, he's not involved in any of it. If it's anyone, it's Calvin. Bastard, how could he do that to her? You will see that I'm right.
Nevertheless, PJ, I want you and Jones to investigate these allegations, and Tess, you stay right out of it.
Do you work as a prostitute?
Чи ви працюєте як проститутка?
I work as a maid in a high-class hotel. That's how I met Harrison.
Well, Harrison says he paid you to have sex with him.
No.
Why did you run away with him?
My boss is a pig. He raped me. I left.
Is that why you stabbed him?
I was defending myself. I thought he was going to kill me.
Rape is a serious crime. You could have come to us.
I do not trust police.
Why did you come to this country?
So I could get a good job back home in the tourist industry.
Have you got your passport?
Calvin took it.
The traffickers get the girls out here on legit visas. They take their passports, tell them they owe money, and get them to work it off in the brothels.
It's bloody despicable.
But apparently it's worth, worldwide, $7 billion a year.
And Sid swears that Natasha told him that Bridie and Calvin bought her from a guy in Melbourne. And if that's true, it almost certainly applies to all the other girls at the homestead.
It was a novel use of a heritage home. You'd better check it out. Take Parrish with you as well.
Hello, anybody home?
Well, Hummy said they were here. Hello?
PJ, have a look at this.
Not a lot of rest, but plenty of recreation.
Men.
Oh, come on. The other half of this team is a woman.
Yeah, well, if men didn't come to these places, they wouldn't stay in business.
Hey, wait.
Don't even start with that.
Guys? Brothel and a prison.
So, Sid was right.
So we're the prisoners.
Мене злодії! You take both ours.
Looks like a blown safe to me.
Or an escape.
Tasha. Caught telling the truth at last, eh? Come on, let's get him out of here.
What's this?
They were caught blowing up a safe at the hotel to retrieve their passports.
They'll be charged?
At this stage.
Don't even mention Bridie.
Sorry.
Katya, for the tape, who blew the safe?
Me. I did demolition anatomy.
What explosive did you use?
I think in English is plastic.
Plastic explosives. Where did you get them?
Man friend in Melbourne. Client. I am nice to him. He give me what I need.
No one needs explosives.
Your passport in safe, you need.
Natasha says that Calvin took her passport.
Steal all passports. We work off debt.
What kind of debt?
To get here. $30,000.
He was promising you citizenship.
But first, work off debt.
And this was owed to?
Calvin, Brady, some other men in Melbourne.
You were locked in the cellar.
Da.
But you got out.
I steal.
So tell us about Natasha.
Natasha thinks she will learn English. Work with tourists. Maybe even meet nice men to marry. But when she finds out it's not like this, she escape a lot. Calvin find her, bring her back, punish her.
Punish how?
Rape her, rape her, rape her. He is pig.
Who killed him? Katya. Who killed him?
I find he raped Natasha again. I stop him only way I can. I hit him with very sharp sin. Stop him forever.
Katya's lying. She was locked up with all the others. She didn't kill Calvin because she couldn't.
Does she know who did?
She was знаете, хто се зробив.
Right, well, we think you told Sid that Calvin raped you.
Sid got angry, stopped off at the homestead and killed him.
Calvin kidnapped me from the hospital. Took me to the homestead, to the shed. He was going to rape me again.
And then?
So I took something sharp and I stabbed him.
And Sid?
He followed us, found me and took me back to his place.
Bunny can't have confessed. She never done it.
Well, I'm sorry, Sid, but she says that Calvin abducted her from the hospital, dragged her back to the shed, was trying to rape her. She killed him, and then you turned up and rescued her.
But she played self-defense, so she probably won't do a lot of time.
She didn't do it.
See, your problem is you helped her flee the scene of a crime, which makes you an accessory after the fact.
Which is a very serious offence. And you won't have the luxury of pleading self-defence.
Oh, come on now, hang on.
Now, if you want to make a statement, we'd love to hear it.
All right. Okay, I'll tell you what happened. I caught him trying to rape her and I stabbed the bastard.
Stabbed him with what, Sid?
Well, what'd you stab him with?
We was in the garage, a tool.
Well, what kind of tool?
What, a lawnmower? A shovel? What'd you stab him with?
A screwdriver, a chisel. Something like that.
So unless forensics tells us there was more than one assailant, we've got 2, maybe even 3 dodgy confessions.
Both women reckon the weapon was a chisel. Sid was uncertain.
Well, heat of the moment, you just grab a tool, use it, and get out of there before you even know what it was.
Well, let's assume they're all lying. Why?
Well, Sid was absolutely smitten with Natasha. And he only coughed to her once he found out that she'd confessed.
Score 1, love-crazed self-sacrifice.
Natasha is not going to confess to protect Sid.
That's sad but true.
Katya and Natasha, could it be something to do with wanting to stay in the country?
Doing time? Oh, no, I'd rather be back where I came from.
But if either of them pleaded self-defence, they might get some sympathy.
From all the bleeding hearts and immigration? I don't think so.
But they might think they would.
Autopsy report. I think it was only one assailant.
Weapon?
Probably a chisel. 10 wounds, the first and almost certainly fatal one in the upper back.
Any theories about man or woman?
Yeah, most of the blows didn't go that deep, so they think it was probably a woman, like the earlier stabbing.
So, probably not Sid.
Right, Calvin. You end up on the floor near the bench, so drag Natasha over here.
But Natasha's not being very cooperative.
Well, why would I be, Calvin?
Natasha, get yourself a chisel. And stab him in the upper back. Turn around the other way. We need a third party. Right, Katja.
Die. You filthy pig. Die.
Why did you confess?
Because Katja's my friend. She did this to help me. If I hadn't run away, she wouldn't have had to do it, so... It's my fault.
Nobody can blame you for trying to escape.
What will happen to me now?
The only thing you've done wrong by our law is to work in a legal brothel. I'm sure if you're prepared to make a statement about the sex slave racket, you'll probably overlook that.
Also, if you're listed as a prosecution witness in a murder trial, you can stay in the country until it's over. 6, maybe 12.
Доки це закінчиться. Може 6 або 12 місяців.
Я дуже добрий.
Now you understand, Katja, that you've been charged with murder.
Do they send me back?
You'll have to stand trial first.
They should give me a medal.
In the meantime, you'll be remanded in custody. Senior?
Yeah, we've got some forms we'll need you to fill out.
Where's Bridie?
Police residence.
You going to apologise?
You gotta be kidding.
You've just wrongly accused her of murder.
You don't know, do you?
Don't know what.
Can I borrow Katja for a bit?
Be my guest. Katja.
When I was little girl in Kiev, I watched movie, Crocodile Dundee. And always I want to come to Australia. I study English. It is hard, but I know I can. I see advertisement in newspaper. English-speaking woman to be trained as teacher in Australia. It is my dream. You understand? Blue sky, big space, happy people. But soon it is nightmare. I have a lot of debt, no passport, and they say I have to have sex with men to repay, to become legal. I think, okay, I can, but I hate it. I hate it so much. They treat us like animals. We are slaves. We are nothing. And Calvin is bad. He wants sex all time. But he likes to hurt, you know?
Bridie couldn't have known about all this.
Bridie? It is Bridie who teach us how to be good horse. What men want, how be clean. She teach us.
No, she couldn't have known about what Calvin was doing.
She knows.
Ta-da! I've just been talking to Katja.
Oh, what's that murdering bitch got to say for herself?
She says that she was lured to Australia with the promise to train as a teacher and then forced into prostitution.
And you believe that? They're all on the game before they leave their own countries. Sorry, I forgot you're pregnant.
Bridie, please tell me you're not involved in any of this.
They all know what they're getting into, and they make up their little stories to feel better about it. They all know they're sitting on a fortune and are happy to use it to roil the immigration system.
How could you do this after all the help that I've given
That's why I did it. You've given me so much over the years. I just wanted to be independent for once.
Well, on the proceeds of what you did to those women.
Tessie, I'm not like you. You got all the brains. You got everything. And I just wanted a little bit for once.
Bridget Kathleen Gallagher, you're under arrest.
What?
I'm charging you with 6 counts of false imprisonment.
You're arresting
with
me?
providing a prostitution service without a licence. With forcing a person into and or to remain in prostitution. And with living off the earnings of prostitution. You are not obliged to say or do anything.
Your own
But anything
sister.
you do or say may be recorded and given in evidence. Do you understand this?
Mum was right about you. You're nothing but a stuck-up bitch.
I'll be formally interviewed in relation to these charges.
I'm a victim of crime. Doesn't that mean anything? I just lost the love of my life and you don't even care!
Tess, don't hold us all at arm's length. We're your mates. You've just done the hardest thing. We respect you for it. Do you need to talk?
Not right now, thanks.
Well, when you do.
Tess. That goes for all of us.
Permission to speak? I just want to say I think you're an amazing woman. For how you turned out. You had the same upbringing as she did, didn't you? Look at you, you turned out perfect.
Perfect.
The pressure I put you on, I just feel like a goose, Tess. I've never stopped loving you. But I won't be on about it anymore. Okay?
Okay.
So if you ever want to change that situation, you know where I am, but... Until then, mate.
Yeah. Pregnant, not incapacitated. Little snooze and I'm as good as gold.
Ah, good, because there's some bimbo at the front counter asking for you. Obviously too drunk. Just get out of my
Right, you want
face,
to
will
get
you?
settled? Let's settle in the bloody car park right now.
The day I want to settle things with you, Calvin, believe me, you'd know about.
Listen, stop trying to control my life for a change, okay?
Bridie! Bridie, did he hit you? Oh, God.
So you can't even keep a man.
I don't want a man. And I certainly don't want one that bashes me up.
My name is Katya. Welcome to Heritage Homestead Hotel.
Well, look who it is, Australia's only honest cop.
Because of our family situation, she needs a lot of positive reinforcement and she looks for it in me.
Which has got shocking taste.
Hey, it's all right, it's all right. We don't want to hurt you.
He raped me.
Johnny's back yet?
No, he's still not responding. I'll see you in 10.
Say again, Sarge?
I said I'm on my way.
Calvin's dead.
We'll get through this. Right, hold on. We'll find whoever did this. She's kidding, right?
Any word from Jonesy yet?
No, nothing. Well, he can't be too far away.
Don't count on it. It was Jonesy who did it. He killed my Calvin.
Well, we can't rule him out. Not just like that.
So I was taking a bath, heard Calvin drove up.
And how did you know it was Calvin?
He drives fast, brakes hard. It was Calvin.
Okay.
So I got out of the bath, was getting dressed. Then I heard someone shouting.
Did you recognise the voice?
Constable Jones.
Bridie, this is a very serious accusation. Can you swear to me that it was Constable Jones?
It was him.
So Calvin drives up and then a man you think was Constable Jones starts shouting at him?
Yes.
Right, so Constable Jones was already there when Calvin arrived?
No, he drove up too.
2 cars drove up?
That's what I said.
No, that's not quite what you said.
Knew you wouldn't believe me.
We really do want to hear your version of events.
They were shouting at each other, abusing each other.
You hear the words?
Just angry and numbing it. Then suddenly Calvin made this terrible sound. I went to the window. Jones came out of the shed, got into his vehicle and hooned off out of there.
You actually saw him?
Couldn't mistake him, that hair of his. The uniform, the police vehicle.
And then?
I went down. Calvin was in there.
Katya, how much did you happen to see this morning?
See? I see nothing. But I hear.
Hear what?
I hear shouting.
Did you recognise the voices?
Calvin, maybe.
Who else?
Katya, this is important. Did you hear one person or 2?
Maybe ask others. I translate.
Well, if you don't mind, we'd like to use our own interpreter.
You don't trust me? Secret police.